Let me ask you something uncomfortable, something most people feel but never confront. What if your effort never mattered as much as your energy? What if every late night, every plan, every strategy was quietly overridden by the signal you broadcast without knowing it? Because here's the truth almost no one dares to say out loud. Your aura negotiates your reality long before your logic does. And if the signal you've been sending has been shaped by fear, guilt, or unworthiness, then you haven't been repelling wealth, you've been revealing what you were taught to feel. Let me ask you something unsettling, something most people never dare to confront. What if wealth has never responded to your effort, but to your energy? What if every goal you chased, every strategy you tried, every late night and early morning was overshadowed by a silent force inside you that spoke louder than your actions? People believe money moves because of hustle, intelligence, or timing. But deep beneath those ideas lives a reality far more intimate. Your energy introduces you long before your words do. Before you shake a hand, your frequency shakes the room. Before you ask for an opportunity, your aura has already made the request or the apology. And here's the part that stings. Most people don't broadcast abundance. They broadcast fear, doubt, hesitation, and unworthiness, even when they look confident on the surface. Your aura cannot pretend. It reveals you, even the parts you hide from yourself. If your inner world is crowded with guilt, your field shrinks. If you carry resentment, your vibration tightens. If your self-worth flickers, your energy sends out the message, I'm not ready, I'm not enough, I don't trust myself. And wealth responds accordingly. This isn't superstition, it's emotional resonance. Every thought you replay, every emotion you indulge, every belief you accept becomes part of the signal surrounding you. That invisible signal negotiates your outcomes long before logic arrives at the table. This is why two people can work the same hours, make the same effort, follow the same plan, yet one rises while the other stays stuck. It isn't talent, it isn't luck, it's alignment. You don't attract what you chase, you attract what you embody. This is the first misunderstanding that keeps people imprisoned in struggle. They try to act confident while feeling uncertain. They try to think positive while carrying memories of failure. They say they want success, but their energy whispers something entirely different. Your aura broadcasts your truth, not your intentions. So the real question isn't, how hard am I trying? The real question is, what am I radiating? Are you sending out the vibration of someone who trusts their path, or someone still negotiating their worth? Do you walk into the world carrying the frequency of abundance, or the subtle tension of fear? And here lies the revelation. Your aura is programmable. It's not a fixed trait, it's a language, and you can rewrite it. You can train it, strengthen it, guide it, the same way you train a muscle or shape a habit. Transformation begins the moment you become aware of the signal you're sending. Awareness is the first rewiring. Once you recognize the emotions you've been broadcasting, you gain the power to replace them. Your energetic field is not the echo of your past, it can become the instruction for your future. But here's the twist most people never consider. If your energy speaks before you do, who taught it to speak the way it does? Who programmed the doubt you feel? Who planted the beliefs that pull you back? Who shaped the emotional tones your aura repeats today? Those answers won't flatter you, but they will free you. Because before you can train your aura to attract wealth, you must understand the source of the signal you're transmitting. If your aura is pushing away the life you want, the real mystery isn't what you're attracting, it's who trained your energy to vibrate in fear and how to break that programming forever. What if the doubts you fight aren't actually yours? What if the fear in your aura is nothing more than a memory that never belonged to you? Because you weren't born vibrating hesitation. You weren't born afraid of abundance. You inherited those signals silently. Now that you've felt the truth of your energy, let's go deeper into the part no one talks about. Because you weren't born with fear in your aura. You weren't born doubting your worth. You weren't born vibrating scarcity or hesitation. Those signals were installed. Long before you earned $1, you inherited beliefs about money, not consciously, silently. From sighs, from warnings, from fears you absorbed without understanding them. You watched adults struggle. You heard phrases spoken casually, but repeated often enough to become laws in your young mind. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. Be grateful for whatever you get. We can't afford that. People like us don't get that kind of opportunity. You didn't analyze these statements, you accepted them, and your subconscious, obedient and impressionable, began shaping your aura around them. This is the hardest truth to swallow. Your energy was trained by people who were doing their best, but were often operating from their own wounds, their own scarcity, their own fear. Their beliefs didn't stay in their heads. They transferred into yours. And your aura learned to vibrate according to a script you never agreed to write. Think about that. Every doubt you carry, every ceiling you hit, every step you hesitate to take, it might not even be yours. You're living with echoes that never belonged to you in the first place. Your aura became fluent in a language of limitation, not because you lacked potential, but because you grew up surrounded by people who lacked permission to dream. Even now, those old sentences are hiding in your nervous system. Whenever you try to expand, they whisper, "Stay small, don't risk it, be realistic. What if you fail?" But here is the liberating revelation. A program is not a prison, it's just a pattern, and patterns can be rewritten. Your aura follows your beliefs, but your beliefs follow your awareness. Once you see the old programming for what it is, outdated, inherited, accidental, it loses its authority. It stops feeling like truth and starts looking like residue. You don't remove programming through force. You dissolve it by exposing it. Ask yourself, whose beliefs are you still carrying? Whose fears are you still replaying? Which person's voice still echoes in your decisions long after they left the room? When you identify the source, the pattern weakens. When you question it, the energy behind it cracks. When you challenge it, your aura begins to shift. Because the moment you stop mistaking old conditioning for absolute truth, you reclaim power that was always yours. And once you reclaim that power, your energy begins to clear. The static fades. The old vibrations loosen. Your aura stops broadcasting fear that came from your past and starts broadcasting identity chosen by your future. This is the beginning of reprogramming, not forcing a new belief, but dismantling the old ones you inherited without consent. But be warned, the moment you start rewriting your inner script, your external world will respond. Some people will feel threatened, some environments will resist, some relationships will try to pull you back into your old vibration, not because they're bad, but because your evolution disrupts their comfort. And that brings us to the next stage, the environment, the silent force around you that either strengthens your aura or suffocates it. Are you strong enough to elevate your energy even when your environment hasn't evolved yet? If your aura was shaped by the people you grew up with, the next question is even harder. Can you rise when your environment still speaks the language of your past? Look around you. Really look. Your environment isn't just background. It's a frequency factory. Every voice, every room, every conversation is either training your aura or draining it. Most people try to elevate their energy while living in the same noise that created their limitations. But here's the part no one wants to admit. You cannot rise while breathing the air that taught you to stay small. Now that you understand how your inner coding was formed, it's time to face a truth even more uncomfortable and even more liberating. Your aura is not shaped only by what lives inside you, but also by what surrounds you. You cannot rise in vibration while living in an environment built to keep you small. You cannot train your energy for abundance while drowning in conversations built on fear. And you cannot evolve into a higher frequency while spending your days in places that reward mediocrity. Your environment is not just scenery. It is an amplifier. It multiplies whatever energy you bring into it. If you bring doubt, it magnifies doubt. If you bring confidence, it strengthens confidence. If you bring a fragile belief, it either solidifies it or shatters it. Most people never understand this. They try to elevate their mindset while living in the same noise that created their limitations. They meditate for 5 minutes and then drown their nervous system in negativity for the rest of the day. They visualize greatness and then sit with people who don't believe in their own. Your aura adapts to the atmosphere around you, whether you want it to or not. Look at your life for a moment. Who are the voices you hear most? What energy fills your home? What are the first words you expose yourself to each morning? Do they pull you forward or anchor you backward? Because every environment is either training you or draining you. Some rooms pull the light out of you. Some conversations shrink your imagination. Some people normalize struggle so deeply that you start mistaking limitation for loyalty. You don't rise in environments built on comparison. You don't expand in rooms where your dreams must be toned down. You don't build wealth while absorbing the vibration of people who fear money. Your aura is sensitive. It absorbs what it sits in. And whether you realize it or not, you become fluent in the emotional language of the environment you inhabit daily. That is why some people suddenly become more confident when they travel. It's why others feel lighter when they rearrange their space. The aura responds instantly to atmosphere because energy is the first architect of behavior. So the question is no longer, how do I raise my frequency? The question is, what around me must change for my frequency to rise? Sometimes it's clutter, physical mess that drains mental clarity. Sometimes it's noise, constant stimulation that fractures focus. Sometimes it's people, those who love you but can't imagine you becoming more than who you've been. And sometimes it's you, tolerating an environment you've outgrown out of guilt, habit, or fear of being misunderstood. But you must hear this. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is survival. You cannot evolve while staying loyal to spaces that suffocate your potential. You cannot attract wealth while immersing yourself in conversations that glorify lack. and you cannot expand your identity while living inside an environment built by your old one. The moment you begin rising, resistance will appear. People may question you. Circumstances may test you. Your old habits may call you back, not because you're failing, but because your new frequency is destabilizing your old world. This is the threshold every transformation crosses. Can you hold your new vibration even when your environment hasn't caught up yet? Because if you can, you become unstoppable. But to accomplish that, there is another layer you must master, one far more intimate than environment and far more influential than belief. Your emotions, they are the true voltage behind your aura, and they shape your frequency more powerfully than anything outside you. If your environment shapes your energy, then your emotions power it, and until you master the emotional current inside you, your aura will rise and collapse like a wave. You can speak confidence, but your emotions whisper the truth. You can visualize abundance, but your nervous system broadcasts whether you actually believe it. Your aura doesn't respond to words. It responds to the emotions beneath them. This is why people manifest the same struggles again and again. They're emotionally rehearsing the reality they say they want to escape. Now you're stepping into the core of your transformation, the place most people avoid, yet the place where every energetic shift truly begins. Your emotions are not background noise. They are not fleeting sparks that come and go without consequence. They are the electrical current powering your aura. They are the voltage behind your thoughts, the tone behind your intentions, the true language the universe listens to. You can speak confidence with your mouth, but if your emotions hum with fear, the world hears the hum, not the words. Your aura is emotional before it is intellectual. This is why people repeat affirmations and see no change. They're trying to paint over the surface while the emotional foundation beneath them is still vibrating with insecurity, scarcity, or unresolved pain. Emotion writes the code. Emotion determines the frequency. Emotion tells your aura what reality to expect. And here's the truth that stings just a little. You manifest what you feel, not what you wish. You can desire success while feeling unworthy. You can chase wealth while feeling unsafe with abundance. You can visualize a bright future while emotionally rehearsing a dark one. Your aura transmits the dominant feeling, not the prettiest thought. So the question becomes, what is your emotional baseline? Not on your best days, but on your ordinary ones. What emotion wakes with you in the morning? What emotion tucks you in at night? What emotion fills the silence when you're alone? That frequency becomes your signature. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about training them, just as an athlete trains the body, a musician trains the ear, a speaker trains the voice. Every time fear rises, you have a choice: react or retrain. Fear is not the enemy. Attachment to fear is. The moment you observe it without surrendering to it, the signal begins to shift. When doubt whispers, you don't argue with it. You outgrow it. You breathe into your chest and remind your nervous system, safety lives here. Expansion is not a threat. Abundance doesn't harm me. Your body responds to repetition, not logic. Think of your emotions as rivers. Some rivers lead you forward. Clarity, gratitude, certainty. Some rivers drag you backward. Resentment, panic, shame. The more often you step into a river, the more familiar it becomes. The easier it is to enter again. The faster it becomes your default path. So if you want to shift your aura, you must change your emotional rivers, not all at once, but consistently. Start noticing the small wins. Celebrate the quiet moments of clarity. Amplify gratitude until it becomes your emotional home. Speak victory into your nervous system until your body recognizes ease as normal, because the nervous system doesn't know the difference between memory and imagination. It only knows repetition, and repetition becomes emotional reality. This is why people lose blessings they weren't emotionally trained for. Lottery winners collapse under the weight of sudden expansion. People sabotage relationships they don't feel worthy of. Opportunities slip away because the internal frequency can't hold them. You must become emotionally capable of receiving what you ask for. You must raise your baseline, not through hype, but through inner neutrality, inner stability, inner readiness. The calm confidence that says, I can hold more, I can carry more, I am safe with abundance. This emotional tone is what wealth recognizes. This is the frequency that opportunity trusts. This is the vibration that makes your aura magnetic, naturally, without force. But emotional mastery is not the final step. Even when your feelings align, even when your energy rises, there is a deeper layer that dictates everything your aura broadcasts, your beliefs. And until you rewrite those inner laws, your energy will always have a limit. If emotion is the voltage of your aura, belief is the architecture of your reality. And unless you rebuild that architecture, your energy will always hit the same ceiling. Belief is not a thought. Belief is an internal law. A rule your aura follows even when your desires scream for more. You can want wealth, but if your beliefs say you're not ready for it, your aura will always choose the belief, not the desire. This is why near wins happen, the almost job, the almost breakthrough, the almost life you were reaching for. Not bad luck, belief conflict. Now we enter the deepest layer, the layer that quietly governs your fate, even when your emotions rise, even when your environment shifts, even when you begin to elevate your energy, your beliefs. Belief is not a thought. Belief is not a wish. Belief is not hope dressed in determination. Belief is the internal law your aura obeys. It is the foundation beneath your emotions, the structure that shapes your expectations, the hidden rule book that tells your energy what it is allowed to receive and what it must reject. You can dream of wealth while holding a belief that wealth is unsafe. You can want success while believing success will isolate you. You can crave opportunity while believing you're not ready for it. Desire and belief can live in the same mind, but whichever one carries more emotional weight becomes your reality. Desire whispers, belief commands. When you want something but don't believe you can hold it, your aura broadcasts the disbelief, not the desire. That contradiction confuses your signal, weakens your frequency, and causes the universe to mirror back your uncertainty. This is why people experience near wins, the almost job, the almost breakthrough, the almost opportunity that slips away right before it becomes real. It's not bad luck, it's misalignment. The outer world cannot exceed the inner laws you've accepted as truth, so ask yourself now, with complete honesty, what do I actually believe I deserve? Not what you want, not what you say, not what you post, what you believe when the world is quiet, because those beliefs write the script your aura performs. But here is the liberating truth. Beliefs are not carved in stone. They are carved in repetition. Every belief you hold, good or bad, limited or expansive, was installed by hearing or feeling something repeatedly until it became familiar. Belief is simply familiarity wearing confidence. So if doubt can be trained, so can certainty. If limitation can be learned, so can abundance. If you can rehearse fear, you can rehearse power. The process begins with one shift. Stop treating your old beliefs as facts. Most of what you believe about yourself is not truth. It is memory, echo, leftovers from a version of you that no longer exists. Beliefs dissolve when you challenge them. Beliefs weaken when you stop feeding them. Beliefs transform when you replace them consistently. Start by visualizing your future self, not as a fantasy, but as a memory you're stepping back into. See through their eyes, feel their posture, notice their certainty, witness how calmly they move through life, how naturally wealth flows to them, how effortlessly opportunities align. Let this version of you become familiar, so familiar that it stops feeling distant and starts feeling inevitable. Your nervous system responds to familiarity, and when the future feels familiar, it stops feeling impossible. This is where belief bends reality, because when your beliefs align with your emotions and your emotions align with your frequency, your aura becomes coherent, clear, stable, undeniable. People feel the difference. Opportunities gravitate toward you. Synchronicities increase. Life starts rearranging itself around your inner certainty. But even then, even when belief, emotion, and environment begin to harmonize, there remains one final threshold: embodiment. Living as the person you claim to be, even before the evidence appears. That is the step most people fear, and that is the step that changes everything. If belief is the law your aura follows, then embodiment is the proof your aura demands. And until you live the identity you've built, the universe cannot match it. Here is the truth most people run from. You don't attract the life you want. You attract the life you embody, not when it's convenient, not when motivation is high, but in your smallest choices, your posture, your tone, your presence. Energy doesn't respond to performance, it responds to congruence. Everything you've learned leads to one final truth, the truth most people avoid because it demands the highest form of courage. You must become the person you are asking the universe to reward, not occasionally, not when circumstances feel right, not when motivation is high, but daily, deliberately, unapologetically. This is called embodiment. The moment your inner identity and your outer behavior finally agree, because energy doesn't respond to performance, it responds to congruence. You can visualize wealth, speak affirmations of abundance, and polish your goals every night. But if your actions still reflect the identity of who you used to be, your aura will broadcast the old signal. Embodiment is when the new belief stops being a theory and becomes a posture, a tone, a presence. It is when you no longer try to convince yourself, you simply are. Think of it this way: your aura is like a tuning fork. The universe places opportunities around you and listens. If your vibration is shaky, the opportunities pass. If your vibration is conflicted, the opportunities stall. But when your vibration is consistent, clear, confident, unwavering, life begins to harmonize with it. This is why embodiment is the final threshold. It's not about pretending to be wealthy or faking confidence or acting superior. Embodiment is internal, quiet, grounded. It is the moment you stop rehearsing your value and start living it. You walk differently, not with arrogance, with assurance. You speak differently, not with force, with clarity. You make decisions differently, not from fear, but from alignment. Your aura feels it first, others feel it second. Reality feels it last, but reality always catches up. Embodiment doesn't ask, do I deserve this? It states, this is who I am now. And that shift, that subtle but seismic shift, is what collapses the distance between where you are and where you're meant to be. But embodiment requires consistency. You cannot step into your future self only when you feel strong. You must step into it especially when you feel uncertain. That is where the identity stabilizes. That is where the aura solidifies. That is where the universe begins to respond. Before every major moment, the call, the opportunity, the decision, pause. Close your eyes, breathe into your chest, and step into the memory of your future self. Feel the outcome as already accomplished. Let your body absorb that certainty. Let your energy reflect it. This is not fantasy, this is instruction. You are teaching your nervous system how to hold the reality you're calling in. And when your actions consistently match your highest identity, not your fears, not your past, not your environment, your aura becomes magnetic in a way people can't explain. They'll say you feel different. They'll say there's something about you. They'll be drawn to you without knowing why. Because your energy will no longer negotiate your worth, it will declare it. That is embodiment, living in such alignment that life bends toward you, walking in such certainty that opportunities respond, carrying such coherence that abundance recognizes its own reflection in you. You don't chase, you don't force, you don't beg. Your aura leads, your reality follows. This is the final transformation, not becoming someone new, but finally allowing yourself to become who you were always meant to be. And once your identity, emotions, beliefs, and environment harmonize, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself around your signal. Because the moment you embody your future self, the universe stops testing you and starts responding to you. You no longer attract wealth, you command it through who you have become.